Dr. Gurton. I'd like to talk today about the default mode network or DMN. So, what is it and why we need it on a daily basis? So, before to get started, I'd like to define more specifically what we mean about consciousness. So, it all depends who you're talking with, but let's say you're talking with your medical doctor or even better, your anesthesiologist, and you ask that person what is consciousness and what is unconsciousness. He or she will probably tell you that it's very simple. You're conscious whenever you're awake after getting out of bed, and you are unconscious whenever you're sleeping or under general anesthesia. Um, so it's associated with a basic form of consciousness called sentience. But there are other definitions of consciousness or associated with higher level of consciousness. In my research, I defined two additional levels, the second level and the third level. The second level of consciousness is a type of consciousness associated with the execution of very specific tasks or unusual tasks requiring attention, focus attention. For instance, writing a document at work, being in front of a group and giving a class in biology, or if you're a Buddhist monk, meditating and thinking about your breathing and things like that. A third level, which has virtually no limits in terms of intensity, it's a type is what I call relative consciousness or transcendent consciousness, and it can only be acquired with regular concentration training. I'm talking about meditation, analytic meditation here, more specifically, and thinking and about knowledge gain either through meditation or reading. That type of meditation is used to reduce stress on the long term and also to increase well-being, for instance. To get back to the DMN, so it's not just one or two regions of the brain, it's a number of regions acting together to express what many people call the autopilot mode, because on a regular basis during most of our daily tasks we are minimally conscious. I call it on generalized daily unconsciousness, but whatever, it includes a number of regions, cortical regions mainly, but also subcortical regions behind here your head, the prefrontal area, the temporal, the parietal area. It includes subcortical structures such as the thalamus, the hippocampus, and things like that. For instance, if you're driving your car to work in the morning, it's mostly your DMN that is active and allowing you to do it. If you're drinking your coffee in front of TV, as you probably do every morning, same thing. The DMN is in charge of of most of your brain activity. If you're walking on the street, you're going from point A to point B, and it's a path that you take on a daily basis, more or less. Then also it's a DMN. You're almost unconscious. I mean, you're running on the autopilot extensively. And also, if you are like most people and are caught in doing a lot of overthinking or mental rumination, it's also because of relatively high DMN activity. So as soon as you start focusing on a specific task requiring your attention, such as during the basic meditation, such as the MBSR, meditation-based stress reduction technique, then the activity of the DMN will go down, will be reduced, and will be replaced by other networks in the brain, such as the CEN, or the CCN, or the DAN, and we'll come back to those other networks in other videos. From a pathological point of view, people who express high level of DMN activity are often have to deal with stress and anxiety problems, even depression, and in worst cases with schizophrenia. Pharmacologically, it's possible to reduce the DMN activity using agents such as serotonin type 2A type of agonists, what we call 5-HT2 agonists, such as psilocybin. From a comportamental point of view, it's also possible to reduce DMN activity using, as we just said 2 minutes ago, MBSR, so a basic form of meditation or a single point focus type of meditation to reduce your stress. Well, that's it for today. So just remember that your DMN is more or less controlling your mind on a daily basis. It's responsible for mental rumination. It generates stress. So you have to be aware of that and taking care of it whenever it's possible. So next week we'll talk about other brain regions involved in consciousness.